Welcome to the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Friday, June 21st. This is Gina Palma. Over the next couple of days, we'll continue to see cool and breezy conditions today, generally area-wide for the cooler temperatures as the cold front has moved mostly through the Great Basin. We'll still have gusty winds over parts of southern Nevada into the Arizona Strip and southern Utah today. However, on Saturday, winds will decrease area-wide, and we'll see those cooler temperatures push all the way into eastern and southern Utah and the Arizona Strip. We'll see highs only reaching the 60s and 70s in many areas over the next couple of days. However, temperatures quickly will start rebounding in the north and west on Saturday, and then on Sunday across the area, and we'll be back up into near or just above normal conditions. Winds will also start to pick up a little bit on Sunday and more so into next week. Looking at the last 24 hours, we saw a good amount of lightning across much of Utah into far eastern Nevada and some isolated strikes up across central Idaho. We only saw light amounts of precipitation in general with these thunderstorms, but where the thunderstorms were a little bit more concentrated over central and eastern Utah, we did see some heavier amounts above a quarter or half of an inch. Looking at the Great Basin fire activity, generally light initial attack across the Great Basin, but we did have a new fire, almost 300 acres over parts of central Utah with that lightning. Looking at the precipitation over the last 7 days, the image on the left shows that most areas saw some precipitation with the exception of far southern and western Nevada and along the Snake River Plain. Over the last 30 days, above normal precipitation has been observed across Utah and much of Nevada, again with the exception being southern and western Nevada, which has been just below normal, and also up over central and eastern Idaho into Wyoming, which has also been just below normal. Looking at our current ERC conditions, we are seeing ERCs continue to rise. We may see some of those ERCs drop a little bit in Utah over the next couple of days with the moisture and the cooler temperatures, but we will see ERCs rise over western Nevada up into parts of southwest Idaho, and some areas are now above the 50th percentile. Looking at our live fuel our current ERCs on our charts, you can see the ERCs and the rapid rise we've seen with the warmer temperatures we saw over the last week or so. ERCs over Idaho, southern Idaho, and over western Nevada in the lower elevations are now near normal for the time of year. They are still below normal elsewhere across the Great Basin. Live fuel moistures have also started to drop and are near normal over parts of southern Idaho in the lower elevations with the sagebrush, and also are approaching normal over parts of western Nevada as well. Elsewhere across the basin, live fuel moistures have started the downward trend but are still well above normal. The satellite loop from this morning shows an area of low pressure over Montana with a cold front that is mostly pushed through the Great Basin over into eastern and central Utah and southern Nevada and will continue pushing eastward through today. There are some early morning showers and thunderstorms over parts of eastern Utah this morning, and these will increase mainly across Utah and over parts of Idaho and Wyoming as we go through the next 24 hours. Otherwise, breezy conditions will continue over the southern half of the Great Basin with drier weather to the west, and also much cooler temperatures with this cold front pushing through for the next 24 to 36 hours. Looking at our weather pattern for later today, again this area of low pressure will move off to the east. We will still see showers and thunderstorms in similar areas to what we saw yesterday, mainly across Utah, possibly far northeast Nevada, and up into Idaho and Wyoming. Generally low fire potential region-wide, however, over parts of southern Utah and southern Nevada, where our grass areas are dried out in some locations, we could see the potential for some growth if we see some starts over these areas. However, the rest of the Great Basin fuel moistures are relatively high. Again, temperatures today will be dropping across the basin. Highs will only reach the 50s and 60s to the north, and the 60s and 70s over the southern half of the area with the exception of the far southern tip of Nevada into southern Utah, which will take one more day to cool. Wind gusts today will generally be breezy. We will see those west to northwest winds between 20 and 30 miles per hour across much of the southern half of Nevada and Utah, and a little bit stronger near the Arizona border. As we move into Saturday, this cold front pushes all the way through the Great Basin into the Rockies, so we will see general northwest winds, but will be weaker than what we'll see today. Still, we'll see some showers and thunderstorms up across Idaho, Wyoming, and far eastern Utah, with drier and warming conditions expected over the western and southern areas of the Great Basin. Still generally low fire potential. On Saturday, you can see the temperatures and how they will start to increase over western Nevada up into southwest Idaho, and our coolest day over eastern Utah and southern Utah will be on Saturday. Wind gusts, again, will be decreasing. However, in the higher elevations, we'll see gusts between about 15 and 20 miles per hour. On Sunday, this cold front is now well to our east, and we have another area of low pressure dropping south off the west coast. We will see winds start to increase a little bit over Idaho and western Nevada as we move into Sunday, but drier conditions region-wide. Generally low fire potential. Looking at our relative humidity on Sunday, you can see general relative humidity between about 10 and 15% over much of Nevada into southern Utah, and much higher as you go up north into Idaho and Wyoming. The image on the right shows how those winds will start to increase with generally westerly winds, gusting between about 20 and 25 miles per hour along the Sierra Front into northwest Nevada and over southern Idaho and Wyoming. Forecast amounts of precipitation for the next few days with these thunderstorms will generally be light over Utah up into Idaho, a little bit heavier in the central Idaho mountains, but again will largely depend on where the heavier thunderstorms develop, so we could easily see some rainfall amounts of 1/4 to 1/2 of an inch out of any of these thunderstorms with lighter amounts in the periphery. As we go into next week, we're looking at more of a drier and breezy pattern for parts of the Great Basin as this area of low pressure off the west coast pushes eastward. We'll see those dry and breezy conditions and winds increase on Monday across Nevada and Utah and the Arizona Strip, and we'll see showers and thunderstorms potentially up across Idaho into western Wyoming. Still low fire potential, however, fuels will be drying out from the early to mid part of next week, especially across Nevada and the lower terrain of Utah, where we'll have these drier conditions with breezy winds. Similar conditions on Tuesday. Winds pick up a little bit more, maybe some drier conditions and breezy winds up into Idaho, pushing those thunderstorms off to the north, and generally low fire potential. As we go into Wednesday, this area of low pressure will swing eastward and may bring more showers and thunderstorms to parts of Idaho into northern Nevada. Also, winds will be breezy area-wide, and we will see drier conditions across Utah and southern areas of the Great Basin. You can now see by the mid-portion of next week, we are seeing our western Nevada zones start to dry out after now a week of dry and breezy conditions. We will start to see those fuel moistures decrease. On Thursday, very similar pattern, still breezy southwest winds and generally low fire potential or low to moderate fire potential. The moderate potential being in the grasses, in the breezy areas during the afternoon and evening if we do have fire starts. The forecast amount of precipitation over the next 7 days is mainly what we'll see in the next few days with the thunderstorms, but up across Idaho could pick up a little bit more precipitation as we get into Sunday into early next week. The 8 to 14 day outlook shows cooler temperatures expected for the Great Basin as we get into the later portion of June and early July, with also below normal precipitation over the Four Corners region into the southern areas of the Great Basin. Again, this is signifying the delay of the monsoon over those areas, and then possibly above normal precipitation in the north and west. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back tomorrow for the latest updates.